Have you ever been in a room where someone seemed almost invisible? They don't talk much, they don't draw attention, but somehow they see everything. Chances are you just met an INFJ, the rarest personality type in the world. What most people don't realize is that INFJs use something I like to call psychic camouflage. It's a set of subtle, almost hidden tricks they use to blend in seamlessly while secretly observing, decoding, and understanding everyone around them. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 powerful camouflage techniques INFJs use every single day. And trust me, once you see them, you'll never unsee them. So firstly, it's all about mimicry of normalcy. One of the most fascinating tricks INFJs use to camouflage themselves is something psychologists call mirroring. Imagine you're talking with someone, and suddenly you feel strangely comfortable, like you've known them forever. Chances are, the INFJ in front of you is quietly reflecting your body language, your tone of voice, or even the rhythm of your words. This makes you feel instantly at ease, as if you're on the same wavelength. Now, here's the part most people miss. This isn't about being fake or manipulative. For INFJs, it's survival. They naturally blend into whatever social environment they're in, adjusting themselves just enough to avoid standing out. While you're bonding with them, you don't realize they're also running silent calculations in the background, decoding your emotions, scanning your motives, and noticing every unspoken detail that others overlook. And here's where it gets even more controversial. Because INFJs mirror so well, people often mistake this connection for something deeper than it is. They think, wow, this person really gets me, when in reality, the INFJ is simply giving back a reflection. It's a kind of psychic camouflage that allows them to slip under the radar, gain trust, and keep themselves safe, all while secretly gathering information about who you really are. That's the paradox of INFJ mimicry. It looks like simple friendliness on the surface, but beneath it lies a razor-sharp observational tool. It's camouflage, yes, but it's also a hidden superpower that lets them walk through almost any environment undetected while seeing everything. Next up, we've got the agreeable mask. Another powerful camouflage trick INFJs use is what I call the agreeable mask. Picture this. A group of people is passionately debating something, and the INFJ completely disagrees with the majority opinion. Instead of jumping in and arguing, they'll often nod politely, smile, or offer neutral comments that keep the peace. To the casual observer, it looks like agreement, but here's the deeper truth. This isn't weakness, it's strategy. INFJs know that not every battlefield is worth entering. They conserve their energy by choosing their moments carefully. By appearing agreeable, they avoid unnecessary conflict and drama, but more importantly, they gain access to people's unfiltered thoughts. When others believe the INFJ is on their side, they tend to open up even more, revealing their biases, insecurities, and hidden agendas. And here's where it gets a little controversial. Some people might see this as passive or even deceptive, but in reality, INFJs are simply playing the long game. While others are busy trying to win every argument, the INFJ is silently gathering data, waiting for the right time to speak. When that moment comes, their words land like a perfectly aimed arrow, sharp, precise, and impossible to ignore. So, the agreeable mask isn't about pretending to be someone they're not. It's about blending in just enough to protect themselves while staying in control of the situation. To outsiders, it looks like passivity. To the INFJ, it's camouflage, a way to stay hidden in plain sight until the truth is ready to be revealed. And thirdly, we got to talk about downplaying intelligence. One of the most surprising camouflage tricks INFJs use is the ability to downplay their intelligence. Yes, you heard that right. Sometimes they deliberately act less perceptive than they actually are. They'll ask questions they already know the answers to, or they'll act surprised by outcomes they predicted long before anyone else. To outsiders, it looks like innocence or naivety. But for INFJs, it's a carefully calculated move. Why would someone so perceptive hide their brilliance? The answer is simple. People reveal their truest selves when they think no one sharp is watching. When others underestimate the INFJ, they drop their guard. They speak more freely, they expose their motives, and they reveal flaws they would normally try to hide. All the while, the INFJ is quietly observing and taking mental notes. And here's where it gets fascinating. This trick often makes INFJs look like the quiet, agreeable type, until suddenly they deliver an insight so accurate it feels almost prophetic. That shock factor comes from the contrast. Everyone thought they were 2 steps behind, but in reality, they were 3 steps ahead the entire time. Some might call this deceptive, but for INFJs, it's not about manipulation. It's about safety and clarity. By letting others underestimate them, they gain the freedom to see the bigger picture without becoming a target. Think of it as a psychological chess move, pretending to be a pawn while secretly thinking like the queen. And fourth, get this, the social chameleon effect. Another fascinating camouflage technique INFJs use is what I like to call the social chameleon effect. Put an INFJ in a room full of loud, outgoing extroverts, and suddenly they're laughing, joking, and matching the energy of the group. Put them in a quiet corner with deep thinkers or introverts, and instantly they become calm, soft-spoken, and deeply attentive. It's almost as if they have the ability to transform into whoever the room needs them to be. At first glance, some people might see this and think, that's fake, or they're just pretending. But here's the reality. INFJs aren't changing who they are. They're changing which part of themselves they reveal. INFJs contain a wide spectrum of traits, from warmth and playfulness to depth and intensity. What makes them different is their ability to sense the energy of a room and instinctively adjust in order to fit in. And here's where the psychology gets interesting. This adaptability allows them to pass unnoticed in almost any social group, which protects them from rejection or scrutiny. It's camouflage in action. They avoid standing out while gaining access to spaces they might otherwise be excluded from. But it's also a way for them to study people in their natural environment, like blending into a crowd while observing everything that happens around them. So the social chameleon effect isn't about being dishonest. It's about survival, connection, and strategy. While others are busy trying to impose their personality on the room, INFJs quietly adjust the dials, blending in so seamlessly that most people never realize they're being observed by one of the sharpest minds in the room. And fifth, selective self-disclosure. One of the most subtle but powerful camouflage tricks INFJs use is something I call selective self-disclosure. On the surface, it looks like they're being open, honest, and even vulnerable. They'll share a story about their childhood, reveal a quirky habit, or admit to a personal struggle. And in that moment, you might think, wow, I really know this person. But here's the secret. You don't. INFJs are masters at revealing just enough to make you feel close to them, while keeping the vast majority of their inner world hidden away. It's like handing you a single puzzle piece and letting you believe you've seen the whole picture. People walk away from conversations thinking they've connected deeply, when in reality, they've only touched the surface of an ocean they'll never fully explore. And this isn't accidental. INFJs use selective sharing as a form of control. By choosing carefully what to reveal, they shape how others perceive them, all while protecting their most sacred thoughts and emotions. It's a way of keeping their core safe from judgment, betrayal, or misunderstanding. After all, not everyone deserves access to the deepest parts of who they are. Psychologically, this creates an illusion of intimacy. People feel bonded to the INFJ, but the INFJ still remains in control of the narrative. It's camouflage at its finest, appearing open and relatable while staying hidden in plain sight. Behind the curtain, there's an entire cathedral of emotions, insights, and visions that only a chosen few will ever be invited to see. Sixthly, emotional neutralization. Another camouflage trick that sets INFJs apart is their ability to neutralize their emotions. On the surface, it might look like they're calm, steady, and unaffected, even in situations that would make most people crack. But underneath that calm exterior, an emotional storm might be raging. INFJs feel everything deeply, sometimes more intensely than anyone else in the room, but their camouflage comes from not letting those emotions leak out. This is what I call emotional neutralization. It's the poker face of the INFJ. When chaos erupts around them, when someone insults them, or when a situation becomes unbearably tense, they don't give others the satisfaction of seeing their real reaction. Instead, they put on a mask of composure. To outsiders, this makes them look unshakable, mysterious, or even intimidating, because no one can quite figure out what they're thinking or feeling. Here's the psychological twist. This isn't about being cold or detached, it's about survival. INFJs have learned that if they show too much vulnerability in the wrong environment, it can be used against them. By staying unreadable, they protect themselves from manipulation and judgment, while buying time to carefully analyze the situation. They become observers instead of participants, gathering insights and waiting for the perfect moment to act. This is why INFJs often deliver their strongest truths when everyone else is caught off guard. While others are distracted by their own emotional reactions, the INFJ stays steady, processing everything, and then striking with clarity. Emotional neutralization is camouflage at its most powerful, appearing calm and ordinary while secretly operating like a strategist behind the mask. Seventhly, the disappearance act. Perhaps the most dramatic camouflage trick INFJs use is what many people call the disappearing act. One moment they're fully present, warm, and engaged, and the next, they're gone. No explanation, no warning, just silence. For people on the outside, this can feel confusing or even hurtful. But for the INFJ, disappearing isn't about punishment. It's about survival. INFJs absorb so much energy from their surroundings that when things become toxic, draining, or simply overwhelming, their only option is to retreat. They pull back into solitude, into a space where they can recharge, reflect, and protect their inner world. This sudden withdrawal acts as a form of camouflage. By disappearing, they remove themselves from harmful dynamics and ensure they don't reveal too much of themselves to the wrong people. Here's the psychological insight. The disappearing act is often when INFJs gain their clearest vision. Away from the noise, they connect the dots, sort through emotions, and recognize who is genuine and who is not. By the time they reappear, they often know exactly who they can trust and what steps they need to take next. And here's the part that shocks people. While most see disappearing as avoidance, for INFJs it's actually a form of strength. It's their way of saying, I won't play this game, and I won't sacrifice myself to fit in. The disappearing act is the ultimate camouflage, becoming invisible until it's safe, and then re-emerging with even sharper clarity than before. So there you have it, 7 psychic camouflage tricks INFJs use to blend in, all while seeing more than anyone realizes. Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's get a debate going. And if you want more deep dives into the psychology of rare personality types, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who thinks they've figured INFJs out.